streaming?
You're in Discord, but I just closed TCS by mistake, so I'm gone. Stand by. As soon as I press... yeah, stand by. It's taking ages.
I've never actually watched a Discord stream.
Yeah, unless you pay something, the quality is like 720p. It's not really amazing.
Okay.
Right, so let's see if I can close it again. No, I managed to don't close it. And go live. So the question is, how do I mute myself on Discord? Well, you can probably mute the application. Probably is faster. And easier as well.
Okay, sorry, say that again.
Did you manage to get into the channel? Discord? If you scroll
okay,
down
there,
to
see it, yeah,
streaming
see
channel,
it.
yeah. Yeah, the problem is, how do I do yeah, blah 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 blah. Oh, here it is. Aha, edit. Okay. So while we use Team Squad, yeah, I can't make it today. TeamSpeak for comms. Should we move to conference maybe, just so we don't sit here?
Channel switched. User joined your channel.
Hello.
I muted myself in TeamSpeak whilst you muted yourself in Discord.
I cannot make it today. I woke up at 6 AM. Yeah, habit of waking up stupid o'clock early. Alright.
Yeah, fortunately I don't have that problem.
Okay, hopefully the delay is not awful. And I'm not sure if you see the mouse cursor. I don't think you can see it. Last time I checked, you don't see it.
See what?
The mouse pointer.
Don't think so.
Alright, well, it shouldn't be a problem. Anyway. Right, so. Start. I made like 4 or 5 missions fairly quickly, just to show you a couple of things. The things I was checking if that SU-24 was actually active or not, because it shouldn't be. Right, we need crew, electric power.
Chief, turn on the ground power. Chief, copy that. Ground air supply.
I didn't set my stuff on, meaning I had to use the mouse and the view here. Because the idea was showing the mouse cursor, but if you don't see it, it's kind of annoying. So
Let me call out the buttons.
yeah.
Can you share that mission with me and I can walk along with you?
Yeah, I can share all of them actually.
Awesome.
Stand by. Well, this is just a startup, nothing fancy.
Yeah, I might as well follow along the whole thing. I've even forgotten how to start up since I last did it.
So, missions, dumped it in the 108 channel.
Roger.
Put all of them there. So I have one for the startup, one for the spotting the low targets, one for the zero Doppler filter, one for the notching, and one with an orbiting target, which puts together the notching and the zero Doppler filter.
Okay. Stand by, just dump them in my...
Yep. As I said, this is just a startup, so plain F-14.
But
yeah, go ahead.
yeah, I do want to walk through with you. That's all right. Then.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. So, which mission have you got loaded right now?
01. I'm muting myself on Discord as well. Maybe you should mute myself on Discord in case someone else jumps in.
I can hear you twice now.
Yeah. Mute myself on, or actually deafen yourself on Discord.
Discord, okay.
So if someone jumps in, I want to have a look. Otherwise, I mean, you see the images, but you have no audio.
Roger. What does ZDF stand for?
Sorry?
ZDF?
Zero Doppler filter. No, starting from the
Ah, okay.
01, so the startup.
Yeah, I just sort of read the title and went, what's that?
So I have the startup procedure on the new board. You
Yeah,
can follow,
I've
Yeah,
got
yeah.
yours as well.
you can follow it if you want. It's not really.
Yeah, just the other
Yeah.
day I'd forgotten enough. I'd forgotten enough to go. I better not do this. Fuck up the INS or something. Just loading up your mission.
Yeah, not sure if we have power here.
Oh, you might not get external power.
Yeah, but for that I did it already.
On the ground power.
I heard. Yeah, you did it, but didn't. There you go. They are responding.
Ground power is now on. Connect ground air supply. Copy. Ground air supply is now connected.
Interesting.
I'm now in. Let me try mine.
I mean, I just dumped the F-14 there in the parking slot. Nobody works. This is annoying. Alright, nice coming. Alright,
I've got power in mine.
yeah, no, okay. I must have misclicked something when I was talking. So what I do normally is IR, TV, WCS on standby, so you can actually start the alignment. And while you wait for the warm up, I normally do a starting from the left. So first thing is oxygen.
So sorry, you put the two switches down by the hand control unit into standby.
Then oxygen.
Okay.
Then I go back on the ejection seat, and then basically follow every single panel starting from the left. So from the radio, TACAN radio and so on, to the WCS control panel, and back the other
WCS
sensor
control panel.
units. DDD, TID, whatever. And
What do you turn on that?
well, we can do every single step. So TACAN,
Yeah, please. Yeah.
TACAN on transmit and
TAC.
receive. I'm not gonna
Yeah.
change the station because I have no idea
Sure.
which one is this. Couple of steps of the radio to turn it on, and then technically you want to set the channel, but this is
Yeah.
really easy.
That's good. No, yeah.
Then the radar most of the time is just let bloody be, nothing to do there. Then you have the
Roger.
the standby attitude, the standby ADI knob. You just clicking on it and just
Yeah.
will, and what else? Well, you should ask the 80s for the QNH. Let's say it's to
Roger.
whatever, to 9er, 89er, 89er. Then I increase the pulse video because it's not you cannot assign it anywhere, and most of the time when you
You do what? Sorry.
pulse video knob on the DDD,
Pulse video knob.
left
Wait,
of
wait.
the DDD. So most of the time when you're in pulse, the return is pretty light. You don't actually see much. And
Yeah, I
then
don't know which thing. Oh, okay. What do you do with it? You turn it up or down?
to the right, all of it,
All the way.
because you
Okay,
cannot
roger.
assign it anywhere now. So
Right.
when you're in pulse, most of the time you don't actually see very well the contact. So if you just increase it, you see it better. Erase
Roger.
and pulse gain instead, you can assign them to a knob or an axis, so it should be fine. Normally, I also push in range while search. Not really necessary. You can do it later. It's up to you. Meanwhile, well, no, NS we do it later.
So
RWR on. I don't have the track IR enabled at the moment, so I don't really see the data link switch. But push it forward for the normal data link. Which would be-
wait. Slow down. Slow down. Which is the? Okay, there it is. Okay. Yeah, I've done RWR. I'm looking at data link.
Data link, or even easier. From the RWR, go down a step. You have the ECM. Put it on standby, and then you go full right on the same level, same height. There is the switch hidden on the side for the data link. So the data link panel normally
How are you getting to see that?
track IR most of the time.
Okay, I'm not using track IR.
Yeah, me either, so he's PD then. But yeah. That's the deterring power. We should change the address as well, but let's leave it as it is at the moment, it's fine.
Yeah, I can't get to the power switch, I don't think. I think
No,
it's
you can,
underneath.
You can.
Show me where it is on yours. Look directly at it.
There is the
Okay,
deterring
hovering
power.
over.
Yeah, it's not the most handy.
It's not
thing
moving
ever.
when I click on it.
Yeah, it is. I mean, look at
I
mine.
see, it's hiding behind. Okay, I think I've got it on now. Yeah.
If you push it forward, you should see a bit of it coming up.
Yep, I can see a bit of it now. Yep, it's on.
Next, we should change the address. Let's leave it as it is. AN ALE 39, which is countermeasures, put it to manual. And flare mode, you can choose if the pilot has chaffs or flares. Normally we leave at pilot and that's it. So pilot will have the control.
Pilot is flare then,
Yep.
and
If you set to norm, he will release chaffs.
okay, and multi. Mult?
Multi, I don't remember. Yeah, I read it somewhere. My site somewhere, I don't remember. I never use them normally, just...
Okay.
It was the... Well, I don't want to give you wrong information, so I'll have a look later.
Okay, no worries, I can look at it.
But like 99.9% of the time, the pilot want the flares. I don't know why. They love flares.
Well,
shiny
because
things.
usually if it's a long range engagement, you're dealing with that, and if it's a short range engagement, then yeah, that's why I would do it that way.
Yeah, it's fine. I ask most of the time. Then, when, for example, if I fly a few times with you, then I stopped asking because I know that you want flares all the time.
Yeah.
Then IFF is not implemented. I just switch it on by because it's good to do it. IFF mode 4 on. It's
You
not
put
in-
mode 4 on.
Yeah, but it's not implemented, so you can leave
Okay.
it as it off as it is.
Alright, but good to know, yeah, okay.
What did I miss? Let me check. Oxygen, ICS, welcomes check. Blah 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 blah. Something that I forget all the bloody time, to the point that I had to put it in the cross checklist, is the OG9 cooling system and the WCS cooling as well. So you see in the warning panel, yeah, it's basically unreadable, but 1, 2, 3, 4. The fourth label from the bottom left, it says
Yeah, something SL con.
con is basically the cooling. So look at the TACAN knob, the big
Yeah.
one on the left. There is a switch on the left, hidden again.
There's 2 back there, I think.
Yeah, if you put it in the back, is the cooling for the OG9 only. Forward is the cooling for OG9 and AIM-54.
So forward then.
Yeah, most of the time is forward. Then I was reading that technically is needed for every type of AIM-54, but then I read the technician of the F-14 that said that technically is used just on the AIM-54A. But alright, let's push it forward and call it a day for us.
Roger.
So technically we should be happy. Liquid cooling, altimeter, blah blah blah, SAI, DDD, blah 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 blah, while canopies should be closed. Now, NS. So ground is easy, just switch the on the TID navigation mode to ground. And then you have a certain amount of time to input the lat long coordinates. Now I wish I had my panel on, I don't have it, so I have to do it manually. So it's 1 for the latitude, in this case it's 2, 6, 1.
Do you not type north or east?
No,
south
by
or
default
west?
is fine. Default is fine.
Okay, so not lat, then say again, 2, 2, 6, 14,
146.
6.
Yeah, the problem is that I cannot see without the track IR. Nice. So hopefully I put it correctly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it is annoying.
Yeah. And then 6 for longitude, and is 0, 5, 5, 0, 8, 8, enter. Oh yeah, I'm used to the values of the.
Do you have to do the
focuses.
0 for the leading on the 0,
Nah,
5,
it's
5?
fine. If you type an additional value, it will be put in. So for example, we come like 500 and whatever. Oh, let's try that.
Right.
I never tried it.
It's ending in 8.
So enter. Now my latitude is 111 degrees. Yeah, it works.
Okay.
Because I'm so good.
So
that I
I've
never
got
typed it incorrectly.
longitude 26146, latitude 55088.
Yeah, you get these numbers from the
Kneeboard.
Kneeboard, yep.
Yeah, roger.
Altitude.
And then I need to do elevation as well, don't I?
Yep, number 4, 22, enter. At some point, the cap values, you will remember them. 1 is always latitude, 6, longitude 4, altitude 5. Finally, Edinburgh has fixed the time to target, so you can actually hook a waypoint and see the ETA. With number 5, you have heading 8 and bearing 0. So I forgot to set up the pre-aligned INS, so it will take a while, but basically that's pretty much it. Just a quick thing about countermeasures. So the ANALE39 is the primary countermeasure system. Let's see if I can. No, we're underground. I can. Yeah, I see them ish. So in
Yeah, I can see the holes just to the left
yeah,
of the
the
hook. Yeah.
cartridges. You have 4 of them. You can see them here, and on the kneeboard as well. You see the configuration. So initial loadout. I don't know if you're looking at my stream at the moment.
Oh, I am, yeah.
L20, R10, R20 are these settings here. I'm leaving the mouse on so you see it. By default, you have 40 chafs and 60 flares, but the 40 chafs are not those cartridges that you saw in the back. Those 40 chafs come from the LAU 138, which is an additional countermeasure system that comes with the Sidewinder.
Okay.
Okay, my DCS just crashed. Perfect. Interesting. Hopefully
I don't understand these. Whilst it's reloading,
Hmm.
can you explain what this stuff means on the CMS page for the in the kneeboard?
So whenever you set a different value, you select a different cartridge or something. First, don't do it from the rearm review panel. There's an option in the F10 menu that actually allows you to set those cartridges, and then you have to tell the system what have you loaded where. You have front and back for the two front and back. Remember? Let me check. So you have this pack of 4 cartridges. Both of them are divided by front and rear, if I remember correctly. Let me check. I'll tell you in a sec. And I think it's mounted like left and right, but yeah, no worries about it. Don't worry about that. So the problem is that the system doesn't automatically what have you loaded. So if you go in the comms menu, you go in ground crew. To change the ANALE39 loadout, you have to go. I don't know if you're looking. This one.
Your stream is not doing anything at the moment.
Stand by.
Should I disconnect, reconnect?
No, it's back.
Okay, yeah.
Probably my computer is 7 years old. It's probably a bit too much for it.
So how did you get to that menu?
Here. So normally you go rearm review and you change it. Never touch those things on the top. Never. Don't touch.
Okay, didn't know that. That's interesting.
So ground crew, ANALE39 loadout.
Right, Roger. Yeah.
And then you can select them. By default, you have 60 flares and no chaffs at all. So those 40 chaffs are actually 320 chaffs that are mounted on the side on the Sidewinder pylon, on the external pylons. So when you mount this one 8 alpha and 1 alpha, it says LAU 138 aim 9. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Those LAU 138 is actually basically a support for the missile that comes with 160 chaffs inside.
Okay.
I think it comes.
It's interesting that it comes with a sidewinder with chaff. Why does the sidewinder include chaff?
Probably I don't know. They just realized that they could, I don't know, design a different support. I think it comes from Sweden. Is this different support actually holds the missile and has enough space to hold the chaffs as well. But the problem is that you have 160 chaffs inside, but they're very small. So whenever you press the chaff activation, I can't speak today, you release 4 chaffs in a go, meaning you have 40 activations.
Right, okay.
So you may think that we have 80 chaffs. No, because when you press the countermeasures button, you release them both from both sides. So from 8 alpha and 1 alpha, meaning you have 40 activations. So it's 320 divided by 2, one in each.
And then divided by 4.
And yeah, but since you control them at the same time.
And then paired.
Exactly.
Yeah, so you're doing 8. Yeah, yeah.
So initially, when I started playing with the F-14, I used to rocket up the value here, the chaffs, like million of them. Say, oh, we have 320 chaffs, I can chaff all over the place. No, not really. You have just 14.
Okay.
Unless you go there, ground crew. In fact, we should get the habit when we do BWAR, maybe of changing this. 30 chaffs, maybe 30 flares, maybe are enough.
Yeah, we're mostly long range shit, aren't we?
Yeah. I don't know if it works. Let me see. I need to be pilot probably. Can't hear anything.
No, I didn't see or hear anything.
Chief, turn on the ground power. Copy.
Okay. Unless he doesn't say anything at all. Anyway, then you open the keyboard again, and you go initial loadout, and it changes depending on where you are mounted. I have no idea. The only problem is that I don't have the button to control the radios. I just have the ICS on the top here on the menu, so maybe it's that one. Anyway, that's how you change them.
Well, I tried to do it through the button, on the keyboard shortcut, and it didn't respond. Not from the RIO anyway.
It used to when I did the experiments. It used to, but that was months ago. Anyway, it would be great to have like 40 chaffs, 40 flares in the AL39. I need to find a nickname for this thing. So we have a total of 70 chaffs and 30 flares, which for BWAR is much better than 40, 60. Because we don't use much the chaffs.
Flares. We use flares. We don't use chaff. Right?
Yeah, sorry. Now, ground power. Ground power. Yeah, I should. Well, when the INS is started, then you can go to the cap.
Now my INS is done. Yeah.
Alright, so switch to nav mode back to off. Sorry, to off. To INS, so vertically.
Roger.
And you're done. On the carrier is different. I'll set up a quick mission later just to show you how it is done on the carrier. It's even easier.
Yeah, I know you have to pick up the carrier data.
Data
But
link,
you
exactly.
don't. Yeah.
Do you know
You don't
already?
put in any stuff, do you? Because it picks it up from the carrier.
No, exactly.
Yeah.
It stays updated all the time. The magnetic variation is totally off when you're on the carrier due to the magnetic field of the carrier as well. Itself will set it up itself. So
Okay.
once you've done the alignment, you go back to the cap. You turn to nav,
Roger.
and you have bottom right
Mag
bar
variation.
heading. So if you see there are two brackets that says heading, so number 8. So always press clear, just to make sure when you play with a cap. Press 8 and you check on the inboard page the variation. At the moment is 1.9.
How do you do the point?
No, you just type 19. 19, enter. Ta-da, 19. If you see my
Cool.
TID at the moment it changes.
Yeah.
So
Mine's done it. Oh, yours is. Oh, there you go. Yeah. Same
yeah,
as
because
mine
it's
now.
crashed,
Yeah.
I lost the alignment.
Yeah.
So see the numbers on the right, they keep changing. Under it,
Yeah, that's the computer active.
on the bottom of it, they should see normally an I think. Sometimes it comes an M. I don't remember. Later we'll fly and I'll check.
Whereabouts?
Basically under the number that are changing on the right.
Okay. Yeah.
When you see an M, it means that the INS at the moment is using the the manual magnetic variation that you put in the system for whatever reason. Well, startup is pretty much it. It's pretty straightforward, easy stuff.
Is this mag variation where you discovered that what heading it's showing you?
What do you mean?
Well, so I've just noticed. We're having that thing the other day where all the data we were getting on the TID was aircraft heading, yeah, as in aircraft is due north. But if I click on that mag vary, when it's lit, there's a little box right above the TID. When the button on the cap is lit for mag variation, that box above the top of the TID is empty. But I take mag variation heading off, it spins around and says own aircraft. No, it doesn't for you.
No.
Have you still got mag variation set?
Yeah, VC is the calculated one, but since I haven't aligned the INS.
Look down at your mag, at your cap.
Yep.
Right, unselect the bottom right one. Now look above your
Yeah,
TID.
now he is on aircraft.
Yeah. Okay. So is that the difference between what it will show you if you hook a target on the TID, Will it tell? Is that the difference in telling you a world north bearing versus an aircraft north bearing? Does that make sense?
No, I'm not really following you. If you're asking basically if there's a way to show the true rather than the magnetic.
No, not difference between true and mag. But so the other day when we were flying with Thumper in AWACS, he had to start giving us 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, right? Because when we were hooking targets on the TID, it was telling us it's at 020, assuming the aircraft's pointing north, which it wasn't, right?
Ah, no, I see. No, that's the different thing. That's because the bearing. We'll see later when we fly. The bearing of the F-14 is relative bearing, so I nicknamed it relative bearing to differentiate it. It's not the bearing that we normally use. So what I do normally is, well, we'll do it when we fly, because if I do it at the moment, I don't think it works. But let's see.
Okay.
So basically, what I do.
So what does that little flag-on aircraft at the top of the TID actually refer to?
Meaning your aircraft is selected. Meaning if you type any lat long at the moment,
Okay.
you
It's in
screw up
relation.
yeah, aircraft position.
Okay, gotcha.
So before doing anything, always look at the. I cannot select it, unfortunately. You don't see the pointer, but see in the middle of the screen, own aircraft on there.
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
That's like the best thing ever. So let's see. Data link, you know how to set it already. But I'll do it quickly.
I've done it before. I can't remember, but you've got to find it from somewhere in my data link.
Then
so my data link is 324 decimal
40.
40.
Yeah. So the first 3 is already set. If you check
yeah.
frequency, see that small 3 there. So basically it's 204.
User joined your channel.
So 204.
Where do I actually change it? Hello, user.
Yep.
I see.
Hold on. Alright, when you set it, then you should have the data link. Which is kind of weird because I don't see anything. 204.
I've got nothing on my scope, but my radar. Well, that shouldn't matter, should it?
You know what? I can't say if I. Okay, now it should be on.
Yeah, it's Donkey. Didn't see who it was. Hey, man.
Well, I'm not seeing anything. I don't know if because probably the INS is gone. I mean, he's not aligned, so he doesn't know where to show something. Oh, yeah, it's fine. If you put it in the back.
If you zoom all the way out, there's a couple of things.
Second.
If you zoom all the way out on the range to 400, there's a couple of things on the TID.
Not on mine because the INS is not aligned, so it doesn't know
okay.
where to. But the idea
2.
was actually hooking something and showing you, but we'll do it later because.
Well, do you want to restart your?
Nah, it's
Do
fine.
you want to restart properly?
You know what? I can quickly set up the same mission on the carrier. So I show you the alignment and also I flag the pre-aligned INS. So it takes a couple of minutes rather than bloody 1 day.
Okay.
I need carrier. So which carrier can I use? Stennis, usual. Save and set. Done. Ah, INS pre-aligned, I forgot. Let me do it for this one as well. So, to set up the INS pre-aligned, there he is this flag that I'm toggling at the moment. If it's pre-aligned, it's less precise, but it takes a couple of minutes. You can also change the default oh come on, the countermeasures. Let's do
CMS.
30-30.
Let's call it the CMS. Eh?
CMS, yes sir. Right, so carrier is pretty similar, but you have to use the data link of the carrier, and you get all the information from there. Right, so I need power. What's that? Air supply probably is not even needed, but. Right, so let's wait for this thing to start up. Meanwhile, we set the data link. Data link in this case for the Stennis is 185. And the data link controls us the landing thingy for you pilots as well. Because I never did a carrier recovery with the F-14 on basically any other aircraft. I know that some queues are displayed or something is displayed, but you need the data link of the carrier.
Yeah, well, you'd use it in the Tomcat too. You get a glide slope and
If you
you
don't,
get an ILS effectively.
if you don't set the data link, it doesn't work.
Yeah, roger.
You set to CVA, and then you flip this switch here, the cane, which is carrier aligned INS, I think. Up. You can probably do the opposite, so switch it on the top, and then start the INS. Hash means pre-aligned, and in fact, if we go there and go on nav, you see stored align, so heading aligned. Now is much faster.
So, once that alignment's done, do you put the canes back to waypoint?
Flips automatically.
Oh, okay, nice.
No, carrier alignment, I guess, is the easiest thing ever, because it's like, I mean, it's really easy. It's already done.
Yeah, roger.
Just have to wait a couple of minutes because it's pre-aligned. Meanwhile, we should see a different setting here. It was F. There were 3 Fs before. Now you see F, F, CC, and you see the chafs 70 and 30. So this will be probably by our default CMS setup, probably for before engagement. Probably is a bit better,
Roger.
unless we do air to ground and all that stuff. No, anyway. When you
Yeah, air to ground, maybe more flares is useful. It's about, or maybe 50-50.
Yeah, or even, I don't know, 60-40 would do as well. But having 60 flares, we don't really use them that much.
Well, if you do the air to ground stuff according
yeah, as
to
ground, yeah, definitely. But I'm
yeah,
saying,
according to SOP, you pump flares on the way in and the way out, and you're always throwing flares around.
yeah, when we are in air-to-air, though, we don't really use it that much. So.
No.
So, other things that you can change in the CMS panel here is the quantity that you release, the interval. Well, there's a label here in the middle that tells you what you do. Most of the time I leave everything as it is. I just increase the number of flares. The problem with the flares, for example in this case, you do 8 repetition and the interval is in the bottom. As you can see, the color is the same one. So
Okay, so currently I've got 4. It's just to the left of the yellow dial. I've got 4 and 2. So is that 4 flares with 2-second intervals?
Yep, the minimum interval is unfortunately 2. Meaning when you're doing a bombing run, so they were quite spread, but still.
Yeah, right.
The black part here is a jammer. There is no jammer in DCS, so basically you just have to care about the blue and the yellow. Blue, I leave it as it is most of the time. Is the chaff program. I think is random quantity or random interval is in a certain boundary. The details are in the manual. But most of the time I just increase if you do to ground number of flares just when we do the bombing run or whatever we are doing, and that's pretty much it. Most of the time you just drop these singles. If you change the quantities over here, you change the setup, then you have to hold the reset for a few seconds. I don't remember how long. And then he's done. Cool thing about the chaff. So off. I don't think it works. I think it disconnects entirely. Manual is a normal operation. If you set it on the top, so auto chaff manual, basically you're slaving the chaff to the RWR. So whenever the RWR sees a missile incoming, it drops chaffs. According to
what, immediately, or does it think
immediately.
of trying to?
The problem is long range is useless, but if you are, for example, about to merge, you can flip it on, so you don't have to. I mean, it's much more responsive. So if you're merging, someone fires a Sparrow, for example, as soon as the missile is detected, automatically the chaffs are released.
Right, roger.
It's pretty handy, I think, in a merge.
Yeah, I like that. That's cool.
But most of the time, it's pointless in BWR because it just pops a big cloud of chaffs and then a number every few seconds. But then again.
And then 40 seconds, the Phoenix arrives and kills you.
Yeah, so basically, yeah. So most 99% of the time is there. But when I'm merging, if I remember, depending on the condition, I just flip it on. Right, INS is ready.
User joined your channel.
And that's all basically. Now I have a hostel back there. Now.
Shield.
Hello, sir.
He's on his holidays. Don't talk to him.
Dim wabbits. I'm not on my holidays, let's be honest.
You're on TeamSpeak at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. 5 o'clock in the afternoon.
So, I hook this target at the moment. You see the bearing is 178. This is the basically relative bearing. 178, as you can see, is basically behind us. So it doesn't really make much sense. In fact, if I can, there it is. So this is our point of view at the moment. I'm using the. You see the cursor moving on the TID, isn't it? Yeah.
How did you get that view?
There is a function that is called offset
Where is it?
in the controls. Of course. Joking.
Oh, you've got these things all mapped, haven't you?
Yeah. If you see my, basically I 99, except for the views, everything else is assigned somewhere. H and control unit offset. It's pretty handy because you can click anywhere, and that becomes the center of the view.
Okay.
It's handy, for example, when you have the, I don't know, the bullseye. Let's say that the contact is the bullseye, you want to see it better, you just hook there, close there, and then. So you have the north.
I wonder where I've mapped that.
It's pretty handy. So.
Standby one. I'm just looking it up.
Never used this streaming thing before in Discord. It's pretty good.
Yeah, I used to use it on other Discords. We couldn't manage to make it work here, and then we realized because there was no audio channel for the server.
Yeah, I remember saying that, chat.
You can hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, it doesn't work for me. So I half action, and then press.
No, full action.
Oh, it does work for me.
So.
I don't really understand how it's working for me. That's a bit weird.
Yeah, it's not intuitive, but you may think that it works in the opposite way, but then it makes sense at some point.
So if I place the cursor over that contact that you used, so up to the right there.
No, it doesn't work. You have to hook another position.
Oh, I can't be on something, right?
No.
Okay, if I place it next to that, but not on it, so it's not highlighted.
Offset and goes there. If you don't.
Why doesn't it put that in the middle though? Oh, it puts the point I've just chosen as an offset as the middle of my TID, right? Is that what's happening?
Don't click on anything. That is.
Yeah, it is what's happening.
Yeah, don't click on any contact.
Yeah, don't connect. If you go on a blank space and then full action offset, it makes that the center of the TID.
Yeah.
Got it.
You won't use it much, but sometimes it's still handy.
Okay. And how do I default back?
You can press offset.
You can just flick TID mode or something in it.
No, just. So, for example, in this case, nothing is selected. You just press offset, it goes back.
Oh, that's quite cool.
Same button again, it's a toggle, I think. Karen, I imagine that's really useful for you guys sorting things that are closely in formation.
Yeah, it is. I mean, the offset, you mean?
Yes. Because you can offset and zoom, can you? Or
yeah, I can.
Zoom is the wrong word. Offset and change the scale is a better expression.
So, like this way, you mean?
Yes, but after you've offset, change the scale, so you have the effect of zooming in.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Cool.
No, I don't use it much, to be honest, because most of the time, I mean, you see everything. So this is the default setting, and you have 400 miles all over, in a circular shape around your aircraft. So most of the time you see everything anyway. But yeah, in some occasions, yeah, it's pretty good.
And I'm sorry if I've missed this already, but this is your TID, yes?
Yep.
And your TID is also depicting data link contacts?
Yep. From the carrier.
Cool.
I'm using carrier's data link at the moment. And I'm using that data link on top of the fact that we did the INS alignment also to show this waypoint. Unfortunately, is hidden behind my aircraft at the moment. This one. And see the horizontal slash. No, horizontal slash, yeah. The slash, sorry, not horizontal.
Yep.
Slash. That one will have a symbol similar to this one. Let me set it up. Where is on base? again, we are on the carrier at the moment, so hidden behind my aircraft there's a symbol like this one that I just created with a slash, meaning that's the position of the carrier, and that waypoint is coming from the data link. So that's the carrier telling me where the carrier is.
Say that again, Karen.
Alright, so the problem is that at the moment we are on the carrier itself. Okay?
Yep.
So, under my icon, under the symbol of my aircraft, there's a symbol like this one
Yeah, Roger, I can sort of see
with
it.
the slash going through it.
Oh, yeah.
That's a data link waypoint coming from the carrier. So the carrier is telling me where the carrier is.
So what's the
So th-
symbol down to your right? Is that another carrier?
This one.
No, the one down to the right. What's that?
What's the highlighted one?
Is the home base, normal symbol from the home base.
So is there another carrier there or something?
No, I just created
No.
it to show you the
That's his
shape
waypoint
of the
0.
symbol.
Oh, you just
So
put
the-
it in.
the
Okay, sorry.
Carrier is broadcasting where it is, and the thing to the bottom right is his waypoint 0 that says where he started, basically.
If I change the frequency, it goes. So
Which frequency? Data link frequency, yeah.
yeah, because it's
Yeah.
coming from the data link. So
Yeah,
later
okay.
on, it was not implemented, but see how many controls we should have here. So we have the Wilco, point, engage, blah blah blah. You have the nav grid as well, and also you have what else? There was a couple of interesting things around. I don't remember. Anyway, some stuff for the. You can share a waypoint, for example. I think you can share a contact that and you tell the wingman to engage it, but there are different symbols, but it's not implemented, and I'm not sure if it works with the link for the mode, the data link that we're using now, because the F-14 uses the link 4 in two ways, A and C. One is the normal coming from the AWACS or the carrier in this case. The other one is just something between the F-14s, so up like the KA-50 basically, up to 4 F-14 can share data between each other.
That's fighter link, data link, right?
Yeah, exactly. And we can
How do
use
we?
the.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry, Karen.
Ah, you just flip it back. You don't see it now, but it's fully forward. Click twice and goes back. As you can see also when I lose the data link from the carrier, the cane flicked. So if it's fully forward, is the normal mode. Fully back for the fighters.
Okay, mine won't fully forward. It just pings back.
Okay, see is there?
I'm on the wrong
Little bit.
frequency. 185 I need to be.
Now it's fully back. I don't have the track IR set up because
Is it the one behind the white block again?
yeah, it's that one. It's always the same data link power switch. It does both the power in the middle. It's a three-way switch. Forward, link 4. Let me check. I don't remember. I never remember which one is this. Let me get my thingy. Link 4A, and in the back is link 4C. And in fact, we can also fix the INS by using this mode. But we don't use it that much. Most of the time, we use the data link from the normal AWACS or carrier or whatever. So the problem with the bearing that we have with Tamper was that the bearing from the F-14 is relative. Again, I call it relative bearing, but it's not really correct. I don't know if it has a different name.
As good as anything.
It makes sense, certainly.
Well, it's pretty handy if you are, for example, in a tight formation. For example, if you say bearing 350, meaning is off the left, and you know also the offset, the number of degrees. So, I don't know. Makes sense. It's easier probably if you are in formation to give instruction.
It's only really useful between you and the pilot. Everybody else, it becomes an interpretation nightmare.
Yeah, but it's pretty easy to fix it. No, not really easy. I mean, no, yeah, it's easy. So what I do most of the time is showing the bearing. Oh, actually, I'm gonna start from my aircraft. I'm using my heading. My heading, yeah, 224. Need a piece of paper. So 224. And then what you do is adding the bearing of the aircraft. So 224 plus.
Ah, it's ugly. Don't like it.
203.
Must be a better way.
Minus 360. The bearing is 66, which actually makes sense.
Yeah, it's ugly though, isn't it?
Nah, it's pretty fast most of the time. And if the bearing is between 0 and 180 degrees, you just have to add it up. It's pretty easy. I bought a small calculator just for the reason to think about it.
Did they really operate like that?
No, I don't think so. Probably they are different. It's the Navy, so it's different from. They probably have something different. Anyway, this is the way that I found, like,
Yeah, okay.
immediately. So it works. Technically, we can work on it with it. Maybe there's something here in not implementing correctly, or that I don't understand, or something that I missed. Because most of the time, the cap, all these values like speed, altitude, etc., they give you the same information on the screen. So, for example, if I want to see this target altitude, just go there. Always press clear. Press 4, Alt, altitude 10,000. Then let me do. There.
Well, I see. You can lock it down to be
Yep.
on the one
You
thing.
press 5, range 140, or you can press 1 for its
Did not know
latitude
that.
and longitude. You can press 8 for its ground speed and its heading, or for the range and the bearing. It works for everything. So my aircraft, a nuke target, or a waypoint. For a waypoint, I also have the time to target in minutes and seconds, in hours.
When you do heading, it's telling you its heading, right?
The course, magnetic course is its course.
It's,
where
yeah,
it's
it's
going.
its course and speed over the ground.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
So lots of information. You can tell that this is the grandfather of the MFD, but the user interface is not really there yet.
Yeah.
But once you get used to it, it's pretty handy. And it's amazing if you take this part, all this bloody keyboard, and you put it somewhere like a not button, or the keypad on the keyboard. Or I have the UFC that I made for the F-18. I use that one. It's so much handy. Just remember, press clear, because if you don't press clear, and for example, in this case I lost the target, it reverts to an aircraft. So if I start typing stuff and then by mistake I press enter, boom, I just corrupt something. Make sense?
Yes, sorry. I was away from my PTT. Yep.
Question?
How do I RIO in the F-14?
A more practical question. This number that's changing very quickly on the right, and again, sorry if you've covered this. What is this?
Is the computer that tells you that it's working. If he's frozen, that's something wrong. Ah, see, IN. Yeah, that's the number I was looking for.
Oh, I see. Okay.
If IN switches to M or VM, something I don't remember at the moment, meaning is using the manual magvar, and is just it tells you that you are in INS mode. So when you're maneuvering, sometimes it comes up a different value.
Is that effectively saying the INS is balked and it needs to use something else?
Yeah, the problem of the INS now is pretty good. It's pretty okay, but initially it was affected by the lag. I reported this to Reupload and then they fixed it. Maybe someone else reported as well. I'm not saying that I fixed it. The problem is that this pushed me to find solutions to the problem. So the first solution that I found was the TACAN. I don't know if you're looking at my screen. I have my TACAN page open, and so I went airfield to airfield, wrote down every single lat long that comes from the kneeboard, its magnetic variation, and its TACAN frequency. So how does it work? You create a waypoint at the certain lat long coordinates, at a certain altitude, because is the slant range that is taken into account, so the altitude must be correct as well. And then you have to hopefully have the same magnetic variation. Otherwise, of course, you know, the angle is calculated in a different way. And then you just I cannot do it now because I don't have a waypoint, but you can do it from where is it? I'm used to my thingy where I have 3 yeah, that can fix. Yeah, it doesn't work now.
I think you're going to be kidnapped by the Iranian FBI to work on their F-14.
So, well, anyway, you select the waypoint, you click TAC and fix, you see the delta, the difference between the two values. If you're happy about it, you press fix enable, and it's fixed. So the delta is taken into account into the position of the aircraft to fix it. Other ways to fix it, the INS is the INS visual. So basically, you create a waypoint over a certain area, and let's say this very tiny island here. This is probably one of the best position ever, because it's so small that you just fly close to it. For example, where I'm dragging now. I don't know if you see the point.
It's the same as the INS fix in the Mirage, right?
No clue. I don't have the Mirage. But the point is that you create a waypoint there, you fly over there. When you're over there, you press fix enable. Then you have the radar update via the DDD when you do the ground mapping and you engage ships with the M54. But it's complex, doesn't work really well because it's different to understand, I mean, the actual ground position most of the time. And then you have the fighter to fighter, or as I call it, the buddy INS. Basically, you copy the same value from another aircraft. And if you lock it with the radar takes into account the distance as well. So yeah, but what I'm using at the moment is standby, Shift Alt B, Ta-da! No, it's not working now. Probably because the engine is off. Well, I used to copy the GPS values from the Lantern. This is better than the Lantern. And in real life, the crews of the F-14 used to use the Garmin Pilot 3.
He's using sorry, shit.
But the good
hate them.
The good
how
part
do you bring up the NS 430 in this?
You have to buy it.
But I've bought it already for the Mi-8. Can I use it in this?
Yep. He has a problem with VR as far as I know. So well, try. The only thing that we'll do it later when we are flying, is just checking the lat long coordinates, and that's it. You know, like a cross match. I mean, until I realized that we could use the NS 430, which is actually realistic. I was copying the coordinates from the GPS of the Lantern pod, which is kind of sad, but it works. It works as well.
How do I? Yeah.
Happy?
I missed that last little bit actually. So were you updating your location using that GPS?
Yeah, I copied the lat long. Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
Next. This is pretty boring though. This is just the antenna elevation. So I found a bug when you play with the active pose on the INS.
Which mission have you loaded?
The second one.
Roger.
So what I do, active pose. Well, this is nothing interesting. It's just to show the antenna elevation, but there's not much to say about it. Why is my controller not working? This is annoying. Yeah, it's working. Because I'm turquoise scan auto. Right. So the point of this is I have 3 contacts coming add-on. One is 500 feet, the other one is 5,000, the other one is 9,000. I forgotten
how to put active pause on. Sorry, what's the key combo?
I think you have to assign it.
No, there is a shortcut. I just can't remember what it is.
Let me check.
Don't worry, I'll find it. You carry on.
It's fine. It's fine. There's controls. Is in general. I set L shift L win pause, but I'm not sure if this is assigned. It's called active
yeah, that's
pause.
it. That's right.
Got it. I just deleted my 14. What am I? What have I done? Stand by. I broke something. Now something that I forgot to add here is the AWACS. So just quickly put it in. Initially I didn't want to use it, but it makes sense if I just check it there. Yeah, fly there. So the point is, you see the contact from the AWACS. You see its altitude, but the problem is finding it with your OG9. You cannot fire the detonating target. So first thing is set up the data link. So is 3115, and now all of those come from the data link. So what's the problem here? Let me slow down the timer. You can look at target. You see its altitude, 10,000 feet, and you have to slew the radar in the correct position. So in this case, the AWACS is not really. It's picking up just one target. It's not picking up the others. How do you tell it? By the location of the icon. So is this symbol here? Is in the bottom half of the thingy? It comes from the data link. If it's the top half, like this one, then it's from the OG9. So you can hook a target. Bloody hell, sorry about that.
I can't seem to change the elevation when I'm in active pause though.
Yeah, you can.
Why is it not working?
You are in turbo scan auto probably. So you hold IFF, you
Oh, I am.
do the IFF. Come on, give me the IFF. Yeah. As you can see in my DDD, there is a little horizontal line, meaning it's an hostile. So what you can do is go in the cap and target data and set it to hostile. And now you see the different icons. One is on the top, one is on the bottom. So again, the problem here is finding the target with the data link. So one of the first things I did for the F-14 was
Everything's gone black in my cockpit.
Have you ever? Are you using your visor? Are you just in a black dark room?
No. As in, I'm still seeing my cockpit. Just the TID and the DDD have gone black.
I don't know. Have you turned off the WCS?
Turned off the what?
WCS, the weapon control system. The switch.
User joined your channel.
Where was the end control unities?
No.
No idea.
I'll reload the mission.
So I did the elevation model because the first problem that I had was finding a target from the data linked elevation. Because think about it, how do you know otherwise? So this is pretty easy. There are two triangles basically. It's the arcotangent of the angle, and it gives you, I mean, the result of the arcotangent of the catheti gives, and the distance gives you the elevation angle. Still an approximation because I don't know how the actual WCS calculates the triangles, but it should be, normally, most of the time it works fairly well. So in this case we are, for example, at, let me pick an easier target. So 5,000 feet. Another big issue, every now and then reset change radar mode because the active pause tends to screw up everything. Which is kind of annoying. Well, this is I'm doing a bad example, but okay, because this target is already coming from my OG9, but let's use this one anyway. So 10,000 feet, we are at 20,000, so the difference is 10,000. Distance is, give me the distance. 60 miles, so 10,000 feet, 60 miles. If I put the antenna down 1.6 degrees, I should see him. And so in this case, it's still inside my range, but most of the time I have to adjust the antenna by doing something like this, minus 1.6. If I put the antenna up, I will lose it. This mission is pretty awful. I should have set, a bit more spread, altitude-wise.
Okay, it's making sense though.
See, I lost it. It's not my OG9 anymore. So let's revert the thing. So let's pretend that I'm a different situation. 55 miles, 10,000 feet is 1.7. So take the antenna down, minus 1.7, and then my target. Make sense?
Yeah.
The only problem here is that these targets are not being picked up by the AWACS. I have no clue why. I have some returns coming from the OG9, and that's it. Which is kind of weird. I have no idea why. I didn't have time to test them actually, so I just improvised. So, but if you know for whatever reason that there are targets coming low, you can just drop the antenna and that's it. They're probably using ECM as well. See how messed up with my TIDs. Anyway, this is a bit, well, just to show the antenna elevation. Zero Doppler filter. This is more interesting. Do you know how low PRF, high PRF work? These differences.
Yes.
No, I just
What, sorry, hey?
the difference
You're on the
between
next mission now.
low PRF and high PRF. Or
No.
so low PRF is the pulse repetition frequency. Correct me if I'm wrong, Gash. And low PRF, lower frequency, is great for ranging. Has less power than IPRF. IPRF, in fact, can detect targets way farther away. Low PRF works on range gates, while the IPRF works on speed gates. So interval of range, interval of speed. IPRF is pulse Doppler, uses the Doppler effect. You know, when, for example, you have a car, like Formula 1 car, going on TV or whatever, you see the noise is different when it's coming and when it's going away. So that's the Doppler effect. And he uses the Doppler effect to find and track the targets. The ranging is done instead with the FM, I think, if I remember correctly. So, long story short, low PRF picks up everything, even the clutter. That's why it can be used as a ground radar. IPRF has two big issues, which are the zero Doppler filter and the notching, which is a classic notching. So, zero Doppler filter, what is it? Happens when the target is going. Yep, go ahead.
Classic notching. Is there how many kinds of notching are there?
No, I mean the notch is in kind
Pure
of the classic way
notching.
to defeat the
Oh, it's an example of classic notching.
Yep.
Gotcha. I thought there
Notching
was
is
multiple
the classic-
versions of clock.
It's a classic example of notching. There you go.
Wow.
Thank you for assisting my English.
You're very welcome.
Whereas the zero Doppler filter happens when the target is going basically at the same speed as the aircraft. According to the manual, is an hardware limitation. You cannot do anything about it. The interval is plus minus 100 knots, so it's a 200 knots interval. So for the target, in order to go at your own speed, it has to basically go in cold. Cannot come in your direction. Unless you are going 200 knots and the target is just standing still in the air. No, actually, even less. You're going 100 knots and the target is standing still in the air, which is never happens. So you should think about the zero Doppler filter just when the target is going cold. Make sense?
Can you show us an example?
Yeah, this is the example. I have my buddy coming here.
Karen?
Yep.
This 100 plus minus 100 limit, is that something that is just like a physical impossibility, or is it a is there a reason for it being 100?
Apparently is I don't know, mechanical, whatever, implementation is a limitation of the implementation.
Could there be no filter, and would the radar not work then? Or is it something that cannot be done? Or?
No, you cannot do anything about it according to the manual. I guess the more modern technology radars and whatever actually doesn't have the issue, I guess.
But there's nothing with, if there was no filter, then it would be
No,
just
is-
be
no,
noise,
is-
everything, or it's a
you can-
limitation, or it's not a function.
You're coming back. Okay, now stop. Apparently, it's a mechanical problem. Is actually how the radar work. You cannot do anything about it. So it's not it's not a filter that you turn on or off. It's just there. It's a limitation of the radar, and that's it. You cannot do anything about it. So you have
Yeah,
to.
That it's exactly 100. I mean, that sounds a little bit
It's,
too.
it'll be to do with the wavelength of the radar, right?
Okay.
Oh well, it's the Doppler, isn't it? That's killing it, not the radar.
Yeah,
I don't
it's
know.
the Doppler.
Yeah.
It's the IPRF limitation.
It's the software in the Doppler.
So, a problem of the it's called active pause. Sometimes the INS is kind of messed up. The TID doesn't update correctly, but in this case, okay. So I'm gonna speed up a bit. You have seen the F-14 passing in front of me. And
Yeah,
we
and that's
just let
what's
it
on
go.
your DDD now and in front of you on the TID, yeah?
Now I'm accelerating the speed. As you can see, it's slowing down at the moment. So do you know how the DDD work already?
Yeah, so he's in the bottom half, he's
It's going away.
going away, and the top half is coming closer, and
Yep.
the nearest... Is
now
it
it
nearer the
disappeared.
middle of... So why has he disappeared? Explain that, sorry.
Okay, because when it started,
Have you
it
got
was
him
faster than me.
slowing down? Is that aircraft... in a
Exactly.
redu-
I set
Okay.
up a number of waypoints and he's accelerating and accelerating. So it was faster than
Okay.
me, then he's slowing down. In fact, his speed is 335, my speed is 299. If you do the difference, it's less than 100.
Yeah.
Then it will fly straight for a while. I'm gonna show it again later. and then at some point it accelerates.
What benefit is that of to
And
you?
there he is. He now is accelerated, is going away, he is not in a zero Doppler filter anymore, and it's coming back. So this is something that you should consider when you are in target is going cold. Yesterday happened, for example, we were chasing someone, and I said, okay, this is in zero Doppler filter.
Can you explain why the DDD displays stuff as it does? Because I just find it confusing.
So it depends on what mode you're in. Okay, well, let it go. Well, let me slow it down because this thing is annoying. Okay. So, two different modes basically, depending on what you select. One is range, if you go in pulse, is range versus azimuth. And this is why I increase the pulse video so you see the target better. So in pulse you have the range. Why? Because the low PRF works in range gates. Okay.
So that's basically, you're at the bottom of this screen,
Right.
and it's representing how far you're away in relation to the extent that the radar can see. So is this displaying it in a conventional way, as you'd expect?
In pulse, yeah. So the bottom, you have the scale. This is us basically on the bottom. When we are in the bottom, this is our position. See the DDD filter that just popped up?
Yeah.
That's
yeah.
scale. Yeah, that's the azimuth. You see, as you can see, the target is still going. At some point, it will turn back, but yeah, that's another problem.
So
See the
in
range
this
at the top.
view, his movement up the screen is a genuine
He's
demonstration of
going
him
away.
moving away.
Yeah.
It's reflecting real world.
Exactly.
Well, game
And
real
you can
world.
change the range. So
No, sorry, hang on, I'm puzzled. I thought we said if he was accelerating away from you, he would move down.
because we're in pulse now, we are not in pulse Doppler anymore. In pulse Doppler is closure
I
rate
see.
versus
Oh, yeah,
There's
azimuth.
more than one way of looking at it, yeah.
More
But-
than one way to skin a cat.
I'm using the easiest implementation first, which is the pulse, because it's just range versus azimuth, so it's kind of intuitive. And to give you an idea how it works, and then we revert to the most complicated part, which is the closure rate versus the azimuth. So you have the scale in the end here, and this is the end scale of the limit, the last notch on the top of the DDD. That's the end. That's the range. So if I set 50, for example, every notch here is 10, 20. You don't see my cursor anymore, I think. 10, 20,
No, we don't.
30, 40, 50. So each notch on the DDD. What? Hold on. I can do that. Aha. So this is 50, 40, 30, 20, 10 miles, right? So as I said, the problem of the low PRF, lower energy, you cannot detect something in pulse more than 50, 60 miles away if it's a F-16 size, MiG-21 size. The bigger the target, the bigger the target is, the easiest that's to pick it up. And sorry. So 100 miles, similar. So this is 100, and etc, etc, etc. 200. And this is 200 miles, so what would be 20? No, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. So this is 40 miles, 80, 120, 160, 200 miles. And there was the target until a few seconds ago here, and now it's gone. Probably it's gone beyond my detection range for the pulse. Oh, now it's back. So for example, in this case, we know that this is 40 miles, this is 80, so it's in between, so it's around 60 miles away. Because this is range versus the azimuth.
And what you're doing now with the half action on the DDD, is that actually pointing the beam somewhere?
Yep,
Is that
exactly.
the AWG-9 is following you, right?
Yep.
Okay.
So you can lock targets from in pulse. TID doesn't work in pulse mode. Pulse, you can just use
Why?
it from here. Because the pulse basically is something that technically shouldn't be used anymore. I think the modern aircraft have medium PRF. Ash, correct me. I don't know if they still have low
Yeah.
PRF. They use the medium, isn't it?
I think it's only medium or high, yeah, there's no low.
Yeah.
I don't remember seeing low anyway. I think the F-15 might have low, but I think that might just be an ED simplified implementation thing.
Yeah, low PRF is not used anymore. Is kept here because otherwise the target that is notching, maybe in ACM mode, you cannot use pulse Doppler in ACM mode as effectively as you would use the pulse. The target is notching zero Doppler filter. Too many things. And all the ACM modes push you in pulse mode. Pulse is very, very precise. The ranging from the pulse is very precise. In fact, if you lock a target in pulse STT, so what I was doing now, technically you go here with the mouse, click full action, you lock it. Now it's too far to be locked. I'm just seeing a bit of minor return on the radar, but it's not enough to lock the target. But if you manage to get an STT pulse lock, there is almost no way for the target to defeat it. You always keep the lock on. Pulse Doppler instead can be zero Doppler filter, notched, and is more sensible, technically less sensible to ECM because it's more powerful, the beam is more powerful. But DCS-wise is easier to defeat. The other mode, all the other modes are Turquoise Scan, Range Search, and PD Search, which work in Pulse Doppler. So this is not range anymore. This is the closure rate. Let me see if I can show you the main lobe clutter. You know what I mean? No, I can't show you. Well, you should see on the full picture on the manual. So this is basically zero. There's a sort of half circle going here, which is the main lobe clutter region. And this is basically zero closure. You can change it by using the switches, these two. This is just for the representation. The switch on the left instead actually changes the way that the targets are computed by the WCS in IPRF. In loop PRF, it actually changes the PRF frequency, so it's pretty handy.
So you need to assess whether it is a nose or tail or beam, and then you tell it. You change the aspect accordingly.
Well, I was doing some tests, then I give up because Ibor said that it's gonna overhaul the guidance, so there's no point in spending 20-30 hours doing tests and just scrap, throw them away pretty soon. But I realized that it helps, especially with the target is beaming. By default position is beaming already. So the idea is, for example, if the target is going away, is cold, you switch to tail, and the data.
How do you assess whether he's cold or not?
Well, you have the TAD.
Okay.
Or you see the closure rate, or whatever. Because think about it, the target is going away, the chaff is coming toward your direction. So technically, all the computation, whatever is done, I'm not a technician.
Okay, but it sort of sees, it'll go for the furthest contact it has in the cluster or something.
Basically, yeah.
Roger.
And I tried with the beaming target. If you set it to nose or tail, the chances of hitting are way lower than keeping that beam. But default as beam is fine. From the test I've done so far, if the target is cold, you see 6 o'clock, keeping a beam or tail, there's little difference, so beam is fine. If it's coming nose, no, nose I haven't done the test yet, but the test was actually looking for a way to defeat chaffs on a cold target, but there's little difference in tail and beam for what I've seen so far. And it's even more complicated because then it depends if you are in STT or not STT. Because technically in STT mode, the M54 the missiles are going in semi-active homing. Otherwise, they are from semi-active homing / data link, and it's more complicated. But leave it there. I'm gonna restart it quickly so we see the target going. So it's closure rate. So whatever is on the top is coming in our direction. Whatever is on the bottom is going away. So we have a buddy coming. Say hi. Hi. Right, so there is.
User in your channel timed out.
So at the moment it's fairly stable speed-wise.
Why was he moving right to left across the DDD?
Because he came from our right, and now he's basically crossing our path.
Okay, so right to left on the DDD in
It's
this
the
mode,
azimuth,
it is showing genuine aircraft movement.
Yeah.
User
But obviously
entered your
position
channel.
up and down in the DDD is showing closure rate.
Can I do a marking here? Okay, so the target came from this direction. So when you saw it on the right, it was basically here. I mean, a bit more forward because this is out of the radar combat to give you an idea.
Roger.
So and now it's coming into
Just
Now-
gonna nip to the loo back in 2 mics. I should be able to hear you.
I can wait for you. It's not a problem. Shall we wait? Folks? Am I alone? Hello?
I'm here.
Oh, hi level. When did you come in? I didn't hear you.
User in your channel timed out.
Donkey's dead. Ash is sleeping instead.
Yeah, I was here 10 minutes ago, 15 minutes ago. But one of the things is that the notching and people wondering why you should go low when you're trying to be on the defensive from missile. And
Is the
that's
next is the next one.
okay.
No, that's actually a different thing. If you go lower, the air is more thick, so there's more friction with the air, and the missile loses a lot of energy.
Yeah, but that's has nothing to do with the radar. But if you notch at the same time,
Yeah, I cannot switch to pulse because I have the
You-
ground cluster
you-
coming up, so it's harder
yeah.
for me to keep the target.
but you will disappear if you have the same the same closure rate as the ground has. It's really hard for the radar to pick you up.
Yeah. Well, I'll show you later. So, so the target came from. Bloody hell. Okay. The target came from our right, so it came from this direction. So now it's going.
Yeah, just so to understand. What I didn't understand was that in the in this mode where it's
User
showing
disconnected from your channel.
closure rate, not position, it still shows position. It shows position on the left to right.
Yep. Yeah. The
Why
azimuth
does
is
it jump over to the left like that when you lock it?
That's how it works, this mode. Then you can see press IFF. That's how STT
And let's
works.
show me the result of the IFF.
IFF is another thing that I'll show you later.
Okay.
So, well, it's worth just speaking about it now. IFF is a different antenna and works like a pulse mode, so a range or an azimuth. Why is great? Because you don't have to break, for example, your situation in turquoise scan, whatever you are, pulse Doppler, to switch to pulse and check the area around the pulse. So even if you are in STT pulse Doppler, you can press IFF, and it's like switching the visualization, basically, the view, from pulse Doppler to pulse quickly. And it works very well.
Okay. And
what's
you
that?
can only do IFF in STT, right?
No, all the time. That's what I'm
No.
saying. This is a different antenna. Sometimes it picks up target that you haven't seen.
Okay, I don't really understand that then.
Alright, so
maybe need to read
see,
the manual.
See the bottom. Unfortunately, you don't see my cursor, which is kind of annoying. Where the DD filter label just popped
Yep.
up. Alright.
Yep.
See in the middle, there are two
Yep.
horizontal lines and something
Yep.
in the middle. That
Roger.
thing in the middle is the radar return. In case the IFF is showing something that you don't have on your radar, you don't have the part in the middle.
That's not in relation to anything positionally, though. It's just sitting at the bottom there.
No, because the IFF is in range. Since the target is just in front of
okay.
our face, end of scale is 200.
Are you holding down the IFF button right now?
No, I just increased the erase switch. So
Oh, okay.
the erase is pretty handy when you're doing things like that, for example, or in pulse mode. When you, for example, pulse, normally you don't see it much. We saw it before, you don't really see much. So if you pump up the erase, the track lasts longer on the DDD. So it's easier to spot single. It's what I did with when we were chasing the F5. I had eyes on the DDD looking for returns. I had the erase pretty up, pulse video pretty up, and I was waiting for a return. As soon as I saw a return, okay, then it's there. And by increasing the basically you can. It works both ways. If you wanna just have a look, very quick look. This is like updated all the time. When the bar probably is too much actually. No, now we are in 0 Doppler filter. That's why. Oh, interesting thing is the see IR up there, lighted on. Is because the
IROT.
yeah, the TCS has a lock instead. There is. So it's not on my radar anymore because it's in 0 Doppler filter, but I can still pick it up with the ICS, with the TCS.
So what's keeping the camera locked onto that target now if the radar can't see it?
So the TCS works in two ways. You can enslave the TCS to the radar or the radar to the TCS, or they work independently. What I did before is that I locked the target with the in STT mode, and then the TCS locked to the target, and it's still tracking the IR return of the F-14.
Okay.
It's pretty handy when you.
So where do you change those modes you just described?
Sensor panel here. So this is slave radar. You can actually do the opposite. It's not fully implemented yet, but probably has shown you already on the group. I'm not sure. Anyway, you can actually lock a target, or the TCS can pick up a target automatically, and the pilot sees a queue on the HUD. It's like a I always call the one of the Sukhoi 27-ish, to give you an idea. So when you merge, for example, when it's fully implemented, you can just switch that thingy on the other way. If a target passes through the cone of the TCS, which is unfortunately very small, is locked automatically.
Right, okay. Bit like PLM mode. No. Yeah, PLM mode. With the radar.
We used it a lot online to kill helicopters, for example, that you normally don't see. So I used to just switch the switch, just fly around, and if you see an helicopter, just lose automatically the radar. It's not fully implemented yet, but still you have a queue. It tells you generally where the target is. And also the TCS, you have the big cross that tells you where the target is. So now it's not showing. Is it? Well, anyway.
Yeah, I know the cross you mean. There's a dot in the middle. And
yeah.
Yeah.
So, well, this is the zero Doppler. And this the symbol that comes from my aircraft, sort of horizontal line with the circle. That's the TCS lock.
Right.
If I speed up, at some point the target will slow down, and when it slows down, it comes back again. TCS is still going strong, by the way. So it's something that you have to consider just when the target is running away. You're chasing the target, you see the target, and you're wondering how come that I cannot lock it. Probably there's a chance there is a zero Doppler filter.
Okay. Listen, Karen, I've got to go in about 5-10 minutes max. So before you start the next one, is it a good time to break?
Yeah, it's fine. Are you coming back later? Because
not sure.
Still a long way to go. Well, we'll carry on next time.
Yeah. Although, I might well come back later. I'll give you a nudge, but obviously I don't want to mess things up for the other guys. There's 5 of us in it. Well, 4 of us listening to you in this channel. So, if
no,
they want to,
it's just me, you, and Level now. Everyone left.
Oh, well, there's still people watching the stream.
Oh, cute.
We got
hello,
Donkey.
people watching.
Don't know if they can hear us, but
yeah, my microphone is on.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was really. I mean, there's a lot of information. I haven't absorbed it all, but I've learned a lot. I've just realised how complicated RIOing is. I thought it was complicated. Now it's even more complicated.
But everything is in the middle.
Yeah. I thought you were smart before this session.
You thanks, Level. I'm looking forward to seeing you next week when you can make friends with my right fist.
Yeah, or a bat or something.
Yeah, with a nail through it.
Yeah. Sorry, mate.
No worries.
There's not really much more than I want to show you. Just the notching and how you defeat the notch, which is pretty easy. You dive, you flip off.
I've got 8 minutes. Do you want to get going on it?
Let's go. I go ultra fast.
No, don't go any faster than you're already going.
The details.
I'm already struggling to keep up.
He's on the medal, so RTFM. Yeah, I'm a funny guy. So, pose.
I didn't get it.
Read the fucking manual.
Yeah.
I have zero knowledge of this kind of stuff, but then I jumped on the manual, and everything now is clear. No, not really. Ish. So I have a target or notching in front of me, so going erase track up and down. I know he's notching. I don't have the AWACS, but I can pick it up in pulse. But as you can see, do you see it?
Not on your DDD yet.
Yeah, it's almost invisible. I see it. So I crank up pulse video, and now you probably see it.
Yeah, it's low to your right.
Oh, okay. What did you crank up to see him?
Pulse video. I don't know the difference between the pulse video gain and the probably the pulse is a threshold
yeah.
for something.
Why wouldn't you just have that on max all the time?
No, I do have a max on the time.
I will now.
So if you switched back to pulse Doppler mode, is notching. So what you can do is flipping off the main lobe clutter. Main lobe clutter basically is the main filter that separates the ground, because what's the problem is the target is notching you, so its relative speed compared to you is 0. It's going at the same, so it falls into the same filter that filters off the ground. That's the problem. So technically,
Sorry, when you say 0, you meaning 0 to your aircraft,
It's
or
relative,
you mean
yeah,
the same as the ground?
yeah. So if I'm going at 300 knots at the moment, the difference between my speed and that speed is is my own speed. You depending how you turn it. See what I mean? Because it's technically my speed, but compared to the ground it's 0. So for me it's like if you were moving. It's like the ground is there.
Okay.
So the MLC is the filter that gets rid of it. Of all the territory. This is long story, ultra short. And now it's back. See, there is. So you can call it ground filter if you want. Because
Sorry, Karen, do that again.
alright, so the target
I've got
is
him
notching.
on pulse search. I can see him on pulse search. And then if I go to, let's say, track while scan manual,
Are you
how do
looking
I turn the filter off so I can see him?
top left? Milob clutter.
With left button, middle. I can't see the labels on these buttons.
Is the second button top left? You see the label popping up? Milob clutter filter.
Well, yeah, the resolution's all fucked at the moment. So you turn that down to out?
Okay, so it turns out automatically if the elevation is above 3 degrees. Why? Because you're not looking at the ground anymore. So technically, when you pull the antenna up, it goes off automatically. But you can turn it off anytime you want. But if you are looking at the ground, you will see a lot of false contact coming up from the
Okay, I've got it. And I can see him now, and he's right in the middle because he's got 0. He's speed and. Well, actually, no, he should be. Yeah, he seems like a non-moving thing to me, right?
Yep.
Which
Yeah,
is why
exactly.
he's in the middle of the DDD, yeah?
because its speed
Yeah.
compared to us is, depending on how you look at it, is 0, meaning is as fast as the
it-
ground,
it's-
so it's not moving.
Yeah, he's like the ground.
Or
Okay, got it.
is my own very speed. So technically, for the
He
pro-
isn't
User
isn't
entered
the
your
same
channel.
as he isn't the same as the ground speed. He's the same.
yeah, same speed as the
as
ground
your
from
speed.
my point of view. Exactly. So this
Yeah.
is a bracket of plus minus 133 knots, if I remember correctly. So it doesn't have to be perfectly, to the decimal of degree notching me at 90 degrees. It can be in a bracket where the speed is plus minus 133. But end of the day, he's turning. I'm lower because I set on purpose the target higher. I take the main lobe clutter filter off and I see the target. And it works also if you put the antenna up, so 3 degrees up, and the clutter filter should go off by itself. Should. It doesn't. Hey, come on. Well, normally works. I broke it. Anyway, long story short, that's all basically. The alternative is reverting to pulse search. Then you go in radar mode because you cannot see anything on the DDD. And you just STT lock it. Done. Simple as that. So the best exercise to do is this one, the orbiting. So in this case we have a target that is orbiting, so it keeps going, notching, then 0 Doppler filter, then it's coming back, then it's notching again. If you manage to keep it most of the time in your radar cone and you're able to see the target from, constantly, almost constantly, then you're pretty good. Because this guy is about to start turning at some point. So the moment he's coming, I speed up because I know you're leaving. I sped it up. What do you say? Yeah, speed up, whatever. He's
Sped
turning.
up.
Sped up. He's turning, so he's gone. Take the filter off, and probably he's coming back. See, now he's back. but when it keeps turning, it will eventually enter into the zero Doppler filter, so you have to do something else again. So let's switch, for example, to pulse search. There it is. So the only mode that actually manages to keep the target lock all the time is the pulse. So your job basically is keep pushing, clicking, changing modes, trying to understand what the hell is going on, and to maintain the lock. Because now what I can do is
38 miles.
hey, shut up. Now what I can do is I'm still in STT. Yeah, pulse STT is a Fox 3. And the missile is going. The problem is that again, if I were in pulse Doppler, maybe the target manages to break the lock. So what happens if the target breaks the lock? See, the missile is climbing. If he breaks the lock, see, he's not climbing anymore. He's just standing still, literally still. So if you're firing a missile over a quite long distance, it's imperative that the missile follows a lofted trajectory, so he goes up. If it doesn't, you're kind of in trouble. Let me see if I can find it back. There it is. And now it's back. See, the missile is turning now. But probably since he didn't loft enough, so I'm afraid it doesn't have enough energy to actually get to the target. Yeah, it's already falling down. Make sense?
Might make it. Might make it.
Yeah, because the A10 was coming down. Otherwise, it wouldn't. But if you do if you fire at like 60 miles, if the target manages to notch you immediately, the missile is wasted unless you manage to get it locked back. And these are the most common ways. So dive. That's why remember when I told you climb, fire, idle, crank, dive. Because by diving, I'm ready to flip up the mail-up clutter.
Right, Roger.
Or you can use pulse, but pulse, the range of pulse depends on the RCS of the target. Normally, beyond 50 miles is to you see them, but you cannot lock them. Happy?
Okay. Yep.
Everything makes sense.
Yep. At the time of it being said, yep. Whether it'll still make sense in an hour's time is another question. But that's really helpful, Karen. That's great. Thank you.
Yeah, no worries. Something that you should get used to is the what's it called? The velocity vector of the target.
Yeah, I'm actually that bit I'm happy with. I understand how that works.
Yeah, it's a Euclidean subtract.
Yeah, it's the relational vector.
Yeah, and it's pretty handy. But in this case, it's different. This is not the velocity vector anymore. This is the what's called the shooting basically vector. This works on the opposite way. So the shorter it is, the closest you are to the target. Make sense? Ish.
No.
It's basically showing you. Yeah, I was gone. There are some notches on the velocity vector. Depending on the notches that you see, you can be. It tells you when you are in an optimal range for shooting, or you're too far. You're not too close. But see my point. Everything's on the manual. Just have a look at it. I'm trying to rush because I know that you have to go.
Yep, I need to go now. Thanks a lot, dude. I'll be in touch if I've got more time later, but that was really helpful.
No problem. We can do it again anytime.
Cheers, buddy.
Cheers,
you. Chaps. See you later.
Yeah, see you.
User disconnected from your channel.
Right. Closing down the show.
Say again?
Are we closing down this show? You have any questions? Something?
I was into short. Yeah, but the thing you showed is, yeah, that was good.
Oh, that's the bug with the active pause. You remove the active pause and the floating just flies away.
Yeah. Are you flying anything tonight? Or?
Not sure. I'm quite tired. I woke up at 6 a.m. Because I'm used to wake up 4:30. So even when I'm off, I don't sleep. Anyway. Well, if there are no questions, I'm gonna stop the streaming.
Yeah.
Been streaming for 1 hour and a half. No, not too bad. Try to keep it quiet.
Yeah, yeah. Poke me if you want to fly. I mean, if you want to fly the blue server or blue flag server or anything.
Yeah, we'll see. I'm gonna get some ibuprofen and then I decide. Meanwhile,